Well, I was trying to still set up my Stream Deck, but I failed to realize that scene switching would work. But okay, so this is the rig for today. So there's a 770 classified under there somewhere. Okay, let me see. Room cam. There we go. This camera I found out today after setting it up with another tripod has a dodgy HDMI port on it. Hence the weird static in the screen in the scene. So that really wasn't worth the effort. Ooh, the image is only 20% done. That's a bit of a shame. So do you ever get this feeling that you don't want to have another meal? Like you've done enough eating in a day, you're just hoping your body won't make you feel hungry? That's what I'm feeling like now. I'm snacking because, I don't know, I had 2 big meals today. I feel like I've done my time, you know? Such a waste of time eating. Like, have you ever been asked this question of if you could choose a superpower, not having to sleep or not having to eat, which would you choose? I 100% would, because on the condition that should you so choose, you can still eat or sleep. Like, but it would be like a lifestyle choice rather than an absolute necessity. Because like not eating or not sleeping, as the human body is currently constituted, eventually kills you. Either of them kills you, right? I've had I've had not so many people, but quite a number of people tell me they'd much rather not have to sleep, and I'm like, sleep is amazing. Eating is like eating can be good. Don't get me wrong, but like, if I'm choosing between eating and sleeping, holy fucking shitballs, I'm definitely choosing not to have to eat. It's expensive and time consuming and tedious sometimes. Whereas like sleeping, like I've almost never had the feeling that, oh no, I have to, maybe when I was like 5 years old, you know, oh, I have to go to sleep now. Oh, that's dumb. I want to stay up and play, you know? Like, whereas eating, like so often you're like traveling somewhere or you're just not in a convenient location to actually purchase or prepare food, and you're just like, fuck, could I just skip this one meal, please? I think it's such a that would be such a useful. I mean, you know, if you're talking useful superpowers, you know, like infinite money or being invisible or whatever, like that would probably still beat not having to eat. But if you're choosing not having to eat or not having to sleep, 1000%, for me, it's not having to eat, for sure. Now, even right now, you know, took me a while to set up the stream, ran into some of the usual issues, and now my body is telling me I need to have a meal. I'm like, fuck this, I want to stream. Whereas like sleeping is just, it's just this sweet release, you know, like it's just like you're lying down, you're comfortable, you get to dream. It doesn't make you fat. You know what I mean? Can someone, I mean, maybe put it, you know what, for people who are watching the VOD, please put it in the Discord. If it's you know, time zones or whatever are not lining up and you're watching this VOD back and you have a strong opinion on this topic, please put it in the Discord. I'd love to hear your opinions. Is there something that I'm missing? Is there something that I'm not like considering? By the way, 150 lashes today. Oh yeah, it's the good stuff. Man, this restore is pretty fucking slow. Do USB? Because I've got USB 4, USB-C on this laptop. By this laptop, I mean this. Let's point to it in a way that people can see it. This laptop that I'm currently restoring the image on. So I feel like even, all my benching drives are SATA SSD, so that obviously kind of limits things in some way compared to M.2. But I feel like you probably still, because these USB-A to SATA adapters that I have, they're really cheap from AliExpress, right? So like, I've never like measured the transfer rate, but I have a feeling it's like USB 3.0, something like that. So in theory, if I got a USB-C, a USB 3.2, let's say, or 4, USB-C to SATA adapter, maybe I'd get better speed than what I'm currently getting. Like this restore, it's only a 14 gig image. This restore has been, like, this ran before I started the stream. Yeah, sorry, I just mentioned that. That's it is a bit AIDSy, isn't it? Do you mean you don't understand why the camera's there, or are you specifically referring to the static? Because I only just realized as I was setting up the camera that the HDMI out on that camera is busted. So the way to tell usually on these kind of DSLRs or mirrorless cameras is oftentimes it won't do the top resolution anymore. So I think these are GH5 cameras, micro four thirds, and I think the top resolution they'll output through HDMI is 4K 30p or 4K 60p. But when I set it to that, actually my capture card tells me there's no input whatsoever. It doesn't recognize the signal at all. So now I've set it to 1080p. I guess I could try setting it to like 720. I wonder what that would do actually. Since my image is, but yeah, anyway, this is what I get at 1080p. At 4K, it just doesn't even output anything. Yeah, it looks a bit like a radioactive source. But all that to say, so busted camera aside, considering I have so many cameras and I do have the possibility of running 4 cameras, I do want to start having third cameras again. This positioning is kind of shit. I probably need to, I don't know, swap the tripods around so that the rig cam is lower, because this tripod doesn't go any higher. So to have like a higher view, like a bird's eye view of the space. But yeah, this is my first recent attempt at reintroducing the third camera. I mean, I have in recent times, I haven't done an LN2 stream as my image completes. I haven't done an LN2 stream in a bit of time, but I do occasionally run the third cam as just a power cam. But I want to start using it for ambient streams as well. All right. Hey, Geronimo. But Kick and Geronimo, you probably just missed that entire discussion. Maybe to attempt to summarize it, I'm not. Did it not detect the drive? Come on. Detect the fucking drive. Why is it... What? It overrode my... Hold on. Did it reset? Yeah, it reset for some dumb reason. Okay. So the discussion was... I'm currently hungry. It's 6 p.m. here and I'm currently hungry. But I had porridge for breakfast. I had a huge breakfast. And I had a huge lunch. And I'm like, for today, I'm overeating. I'm like, I find it boring. I don't want to eat anymore. So I'm just snacking. I have these snacks in front of me because I do feel hungry. But I just feel like I don't want to have 3 big meals in a day. You know? So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this uh, like question. It's like something I heard in high school, right? If you could choose, you just have two choices. If you could choose one of two um, superpowers, would you choose? Again, just to clarify, you can still eat or sleep. It's not that your body's incapable of eating or sleeping, but it becomes a personal choice. It's no longer a necessity, right? Like currently, if you go long enough without eating or sleeping, you will die. It might take weeks, but you will die, right? So the question is, if you have the choice between making either sleeping or eating optional, so your body functions without them, which do you pick, eating or sleeping? And I say 1,000% eating, because I don't get as much enjoy. I mean, I love going to like high-end restaurants and stuff occasionally. I do get enjoyment out of it, but you have to do it 3 times a day at minimum, and it's expensive and time consuming, and sometimes you eat something that's slightly off and you feel like bloated afterwards, or you have to like, like you literally get food poisoning. Whereas like, yeah, you can have a bad night's sleep, but a bad night's sleep, the definition of a bad night's sleep is you didn't sleep enough or well enough or deeply enough REM sleep. So it's like sleep itself hardly ever makes you sick or makes you feel bad, whereas eating does. And like, sleep is okay if you're traveling somewhere, like a hotel costs money, right? Like, so you could argue that sleeping also has a cost involved, like you have to like replace your duvet and your pillows occasionally, whatever. But like in general, the average night's sleep is free, whereas the average meal is costs money and takes time and effort and stuff. Hey, Hawthorne. So put it in chat. Sleep or eat. Just put it. Which, as in you, the one that you pick is the one that you want to eliminate. If you if you could choose a superpower to either eliminate sleeping or eating from your life, which one would you pick? And sleeping is just so good. You're lying in a bed. You're comfortable. You're just like, and then you go to sleep and you might have an awesome dream or a nightmare, whatever. Okay, so that is kind of one of the potential drawbacks of sleeping, is you might get a nightmare, but like I feel like that's really, really rare, right? Like, hopefully the hardware detection goes okay. Yeah, okay. So, Croker. Okay, let's just give it a reboot and maybe uninstall some stuff. So the thing that I have heard people, like the argument I've heard people make about sleep is it does take up a lot of your time, right? Right. But I just think that it's time well spent. Like, I just, maybe I lack imagination, but I just cannot imagine a, like a 24-hour day. Like, not that I like spend a lot of time being bored or whatever, but like, I don't know, like when it's like 10 p.m., it just depends on what I'm doing, if I'm out with friends or whatever. Like, there are obviously variables involved, but like, it definitely gets to the point in the day where you're like, oh, I wish I was tired so I could go to sleep. I feel like I've like achieved everything I wanted to achieve in that day. And then like sleep is just this awesome thing that you can do that gets you to the next morning. Like, especially now, like it's the middle of winter here. The sun goes down at 5 p.m. So you have like, let's say you're staying up until 11 p.m. You have 6 solid hours where it's pitch black outside and you have to find like indoors entertainment of some sort. Like, eventually you're just done. Um, and then like sleep is just this awesome kind of shortcut to get to the next day. So whatever you might have planned or whatever, like you can just like fast travel to it. Like, like in a role playing game, like an RPG on like, I'm gonna age myself here, but the example I'm gonna say is Morrowind, which is like a 20-year-old game. But in Morrowind, you have fast travel. You have like these striders or something, what they're called, and you can just fast travel to another city. And like sleep is like like a non-fictional version of fast travel, you know? I don't know, there's just so many pros to it, I feel like. Whereas eating, I don't know, I mean, I've certainly had memorable meals and stuff. But I think it's just more of a mixed bag. Like, I certainly understand. Like, it's definitely an attitude thing. I don't know. Croker, that's a valid point. Like, I think people who are really organized and have like a really steady approach to life, and always have something on their to-do list and are really motivated, could get quite a lot of like value out of the extra time in their day. Like, especially I'm not a parent or anything, but I could imagine that, like, parents tend to be like really, really exhausted all the time. But let's just imagine a parent who has, like, I don't want to say has it together, but who still has energy at the end of the day. Like, I could certainly see, like, if the kids' bedtime is 9 p.m. and usually you can only last until 11 p.m. before you have to go to sleep because you have work the next day or whatever. If you then somehow magically weren't feeling sleepy and you had 8 hours to yourself while the kids are asleep, then yeah, I think maybe then the balance shifts towards that. But it's kind of cheat. Like, is it cheating? I don't know. Like, maybe I'm thinking a bit too much into it, but like, I sort of feel like this superpower would be hereditary. So if you have it and you have kids, your kids would also not need to sleep, so you wouldn't be able to get away from them. I don't know. I'm really I've blabbed on it way too long now, so I'm ready to hear your guys' opinion on this topic. But I suffer of sleep issues. Well, that's fair. That's absolutely valid. But I feel like that is kind of like an edge case. Like, let's say people who have Crohn's disease, right? Like, who have like indigestion, whatever, like heartburn. Like, people who suffer an above average amount from eating, that would shift the balance towards eliminating eating for sure. And then similar sleep, if you have any kind of insomnia or like sleep paralysis or sleepwalking is a big issue for some people, like, then that would shift the balance as well. But I'm talking like for a person that has no issues with eating, let's say, and little to no issues with sleeping, what do you choose? Uh, all right, where's my where's my Vantage shortcut? Let's get rid of Turbo V. That often causes like some boot issues. Okay, where's my Vantage? Let's make a new shortcut. Okay, so it is loading up, which leads me to believe that there is some sort of graphics driver actually installed. So now let's check GPU-Z. Yeah, but okay, so oh no, it's standard VGA. Okay, shit. Oh. Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take it config, because this is a DDR4 image, so I have to remove maxmem for sure and reboot because of that. So I'll come back to the question. All valid. I'm seeing some valid questions, but let's. Okay, that's fucked. Okay, let's just reboot. What would be your choice about wanting to gain or lose muscle and fat? Very, very interesting question. I'll just say, like, really upfront, I've never made the choice. Really, like, if I'm looking back at my life, like, I've never had the choice of like, oh, I want to put out on some muscle or I want to lose weight or gain weight. I've just, like, ever since I was like 17, I've been the same weight and the same body shape. So it doesn't apply to me. So my answer is going to be like reflective of the fact that this is like a theoretical question to me. But I was specifying earlier that if you do choose that superpower, you would still have the choice to eat or sleep even though you don't need to. So I'd imagine the way that it would work is if you want to spend, so your for food, your metabolism would have to be such that when you eat zero, your body the way it currently is, like at the moment you choose the superpower, would like literally just basically stay the same, right? If you exercise more than you previously did, I guess you would still gain like muscle to some degree. But like I was saying, it just makes that optional. Like if the I mean, the counter example would be for a what is it, sleeping, right? Like someone could ask the question as well, what if you're really into lucid dreaming? Like for those who don't know, like lucid dreaming is this concept where you like train your body through when you wake up, when you go to sleep, and just certain things you do before and after you wake up and go to sleep. You train your body to go into a dreaming state in a sort of more controlled manner, which allows you to kind of know that you're dreaming and then control your dream a little bit, like, oh, you're in the Matrix, like in the movie, right? And I could see someone asking that question is like, if I don't sleep anymore, how can I lucid dream? And the answer there too would be you have the option of going to sleep. Now, I suppose the next question would be, how does, under these conditions, how does appetite work and how does sleepiness work? If your body no longer requires sleep, does that mean you're never sleepy and therefore you have a lot of issues going to sleep? Let me think about that one. Appetite, I mean, I feel like in both cases you would kind of have to induce sleepiness and appetite. Like you'd have to take a soporific, right? Like, so for those of you who don't know, like soporific, what is it? What's the definition? A substance that has a soporific effect is a substance that helps you go to sleep. So I think why is it not recognizing my USB drive? What is it? Like the classic example of a soporific is it chamomile tea? So you'd induce sleep like that. And with appetite, I mean, like we all of us have eaten before when we weren't hungry, right? Just because we knew like we're about to get on a long distance bus or something and there's no food on the bus, that kind of way. So those are just some examples. I'm not saying I have all the answers for this scenario, but those are just some examples. Okay, let me try and get this driver installed. Okay, and also while this USB drive, ADHD brain would love not being able to eat, one less thing to remember and stress about. Yeah, I can see that. Why is this USB drive not mounting? It's exFAT, but that shouldn't be an issue on Windows 7. Let me mount and unmount on the laptop. Okay, so the drive is mounting on the laptop. Let's just safe eject and then remount on this board. Okay, let me try and catch up to the chat. And like, maybe just to, why is it not mounting? Let's try a different USB drive. Let's try a different USB port as well. Okay. Let's clean this shit up a bit. Okay, it's really not mounting anything. Fuck. Okay. Why? Why? I mean, this is why, but am I really gonna? I mean, I can always just remove the drive, mount it up on the USB to SATA connector, but it just it's a lot of effort for. I love that there's WinRAR installed here. It's so random. This is not my image, but apparently it's good for it's good for Vantage. So who am I to? Argue with that, essentially. The utility is not for this platform. Well, that's why I'm fucking uninstalling it, you piece of shit. So last time I went to normal startup, it blue screened. So I'm a bit hesitant to do that. I'd rather services selectively re-enable shit here. Windows is hardware detection fucked or something? Installer there. I'm trying to remember. Is it the plug and play service that plug and play is there? Okay, I'll think of something, but for the minute, I will actually put a driver and a system info and a GPU-Z on here just to get going. I'm not happy about it, but just gotta. Where's GPU-Z? There we go. Okay, there's a GPU-Z, a driver, and let's get future mark system info. You can enjoy the shitty cam once more. Okay, and then what's this info? What's the latest? 5.73. Okay. Obviously not 3 benched in a while. Okay, that should get us going. I will come back to the discussion. I just want to get a run off. Just stock everything. Why am I so hungry? Okay. Let's try and scroll back. So the third of the time, I think that the difference in the amount of time saved isn't, I do acknowledge that the amount of time saved from not sleeping for the average person would be higher than the amount of time saved from not eating. Get an evil hacker gang. Windows is loading files. What the fuck? I don't want, why is it loading files? Just fucking, oh shit, it's booting off the other USB, okay. There was a Windows installer on the USB I had in there for testing. But the difference is not as big as you might think. So it obviously totally comes down to your eating habits. I tend to be a slow eater because I'm not, I don't enjoy eating all that much to begin with. And then if I speed up my eating, I feel like it's like stuff just tastes worse, and there's less enjoyment there. Um, why no signal? Okay, just slow. So these numbers may kind of shock people in a way, but like I feel like I spend an hour per meal easily. Okay, let's get the new FutureMark installed. And I'm talking, this is really a lot of time, but I feel like not for breakfast, but like purely the time from the time that my food is on the plate to the time that I've totally finished eating and like washed up the dishes. I feel like that for lunch and dinner like approaches an hour, which I think for a lot of people that would be like a long time. But that's just how slow I eat, because I like to just like browse Reddit or watch TV or something while I'm eating, and I'm just a slow eater, and it's just like, I don't know, that's just how I eat. So if you now consider that there's also preparation time, I have a really fast metabolism actually. I just prefer slow eating. But anyway, if you consider that you have to add to that preparation time, which like I'm not like, because I don't really enjoy eating all that much, I'm not a big like cooking person. So like the meals that I make tend to be simple, or just like I'm not preparing them. But you still, even if you go to a restaurant, you have to sit there and wait for a bit, right? Like the food doesn't just instantaneously appear on the table. So what would be like a realistic estimate for how long preparation time is? Like that's like half an hour, right? Like by the time, even if it's a simple meal, right? Like people are always like talking about like the 10-15 minute meal, but that's 10 or 15 minutes of pure preparation time. Like you got to get all the stuff out of the fridge, you got to like do all that stuff, and then you still have to like wash up after. Like I feel like it's, for me personally, it wouldn't be insanely crazy to estimate. And then the other thing is there's grocery shopping, right? Which people don't consider. But like if you have a little bit of a drive to the grocery shop, like what I'm saying is like, of course you don't have to go grocery shopping every day, but it wouldn't be insane to estimate 4 to 5 hours for eating a day. Like for me at least. I mean, I'm sure someone in the chat is going to say, "Oh, I eat within 90 seconds or whatever." But you know, I'm just I can only speak for myself, right? So like the difference, like if you consider that there is absolutely zero preparation involved in sleeping. I mean, I acknowledge that. Okay, occasionally you have to change your like sheets and stuff. Okay, well, you could count that, but like certainly the amount of preparation time, quote unquote, involved in sleeping is like close to nothing. Whereas like for food, it's like you gotta like decide what to eat, buy what you're gonna eat, then cook what you're gonna eat, then eat what you're gonna eat, then do all the wash up. Like it's not as big of a difference. And like especially for me, where I'm actually kind of a light sleeper, so like I sleep and short sleeper, so I sleep like 6 to 7 hours. Like there are, and like if it's like, just to give an extreme example, right? If it's a day where you have 2 meals at home and then a meal at a restaurant, where you have like to travel to the restaurant, meet up with someone that you're having the meal with, and then travel back home again from it, it's actually not insane to think that on certain particular days, not all the time, I'm not saying on average, but on certain particular days, I would actually spend more time eating than sleeping. Even though I don't like eating, but I do love sleeping. Because like, let's say you have a bad night's sleep, 6 hours of sleep, I could see a day where I spend like 6.5 hours like grocery shopping, cooking, traveling to a restaurant, meeting up, having dessert, whatever, you know. Just to provide like context and a counter example. I know it's not the typical case, but like people sort of, I think that like the average person just intuitively, the very first time that they consider this question, would think, yeah, I eat for an hour a day and I sleep 8 hours. Like there's no comparison. But it's actually, I'm not saying they're the same, clearly there's more sleeping involved than eating, but they're closer to one another than you would think. Okay, why is my driver not installed? This is the biggest tangent of all time. But okay, let's attempt to install the most recent driver over the currently installed driver. I don't know how this is gonna go. Excuse me. The last time I tried this, it went badly. But let's try again. Okay, let's try and catch up with food is expensive. Curious what the counter argument is for each side. I'm assuming if you don't sleep, then you automatically get the benefits of where body being rested and etc. Yeah. Okay, so you can install. I'm trying to remember what the fix for this driver install thing was. Can I maybe DLL install it, or what is it called? Like right click install it. I don't know if this still works. If I go there and then go what? Oh, it got rid of the other one again. Okay, let's try that. Best driver is already installed. Sweet. Now let's reload GPU Z. If not, let's try a reboot. Okay, cool. So we have, I don't know why I ended up on 397 when the driver said 346 or something, but I'll take it. Okay, so we're seeing good clocks. I mean, stock clocks. So now let's do a stock vantage run, and it's GTs only. Okay, let's catch up again. Da 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 da. So yeah, you would get the benefits of being well rested. So that's also sort of a complication in this whole scenario, because I feel like it's a little bit misleading, right? Because for the average person, I know I'm hyper generalizing here, but just for the average person, I feel like on the average day, it's a lot harder to get good quality sleep than it is to get feel full, let's say, right? Okay, you can always talk about how, oh, well, food is also about nutrition and eating healthy and all that. Let's just sidetrack that for a moment and just try and hyper simplify everything and say the objective of sleeping is to feel rested the next day and have energy for your day. And the objective of eating is to no longer feel hungry. I know that's super simplified, but it's kind of unfair. Like, I do recognize that in this whole very hypothetical scenario, it's kind of unfair. Like, it flips the balance in the direction of keeping the sleep and getting rid of the eating, because being super rested every day and having a lot of energy and getting, well, having the feeling as if one has had a good quality night's sleep all the time, like, that's a super cheat code. Whereas the feeling of being full is like, it's kind of just the absence of being hungry. It's not as special of a feeling for an adult, I would say, right? Okay, yeah, winter here is just grey and cold. But okay, so I mentioned the winter scenario because that's what I'm currently going through. But I think in summer it's kind of the same, right? Like, I don't know. I just don't like this idea. Like, let's say I'm going for a hike, and it's a 4-hour hike, and I anticipate a mealtime falling within those 4 hours. Just don't enjoy packing a lunch and stuff. I'm like, can I just pretend I'm not hungry and then come home and have food? Like, it seems like a distraction to me. Whereas, of course, I have, like everyone, I have had times where I've had bad sleep, and then the next day I was impacted and I felt sleepy too early in the day, and that was distracting. But that's that's not regular operations. That's as a result of something that went wrong. Whereas no matter how good, how well you ate yesterday, you'll still have to eat just as much today. That's kind of the sort of repetitiveness of it. Is what I don't like. Okay, sorry, White Shark. This is a really long and winding discussion. Uh, I'll try and catch you up, and please share your thoughts. So first of all, we're benching GTX 770. In terms of benching, you haven't missed anything. I only just got the driver installed, so good news there. This is just a stock run. In terms of the off-topic discussion, I was mentioning that, so it's 6 p.m. now, and I should really be having dinner, but I don't really feel like eating. Like, I had a really, really big breakfast, and I'm gonna keep this all in for the VOD, of course, yes. VOD is always bigger, longer, and uncut, just like South Park. So that was what kicked this discussion off. Was I had as much food as I possibly could have for breakfast, because I went for a hike today during the day, because I had an off day from work, because I'm a shift worker. I get roster days off during the week sometimes. So I had like as much food as I could possibly fit in my stomach for breakfast. Then I had a snack while I was out hiking. Then at like 1 p.m. I had just this absolutely massive lunch. And I enjoyed both of those meals, but now I'm like, I don't feel like eating, you know? Like, I just think it's tedious to eat. I think it's expensive and time consuming, and it's quite hard to eat well, like nutritionally and like in terms of like your health and so on. So there was this question that someone asked me when I was in high school, and I've off and on not like I haven't stopped thinking about it really, which is, if you could pick one superpower out of these two choices, and just to be totally clear, it doesn't eliminate eating or sleeping, but the choice is, do you want to make either eating or sleeping optional in your life? Like, if you could pick one of those two superpowers, and again, it doesn't eliminate it, you can still eat for enjoyment, like Data in Star Trek, and you can still sleep for enjoyment. I don't know if that's really a thing, but you know, it doesn't mean that you physically, if you pick the superpower of I want to eliminate sleep, it doesn't mean that you become physically totally and 100% incapable of sleeping. It's just that you no longer die of exhaustion, right? Your body no longer requires sleep. Same with the eating. It means you can no longer die of starvation, but you can still eat. Like, you can still go out with your friends and eat. You know, like. So which would you pick, White Shark? And just to reiterate, because I'm gonna, obviously the CPU-Z is not HarborBot legal, but I'm just gonna, okay, never mind. I'm just gonna include this. That's it. So that's stock clocks. I said I was going to summarize this, but actually the summary is almost as long as the discussion itself. My choice was, if you hadn't guessed yet, White Shark, my choice was to eliminate eating, because I think it takes up a lot of time. I don't enjoy it as much as sleeping. So stock 41770. And let's put all this shit into the results folder. So what would be your choice, White Shark? And you can, I don't know, does Twitch chat actually, we want a 2,000 word essay. Does Twitch chat scroll back when you join it late? Does anyone know? I was just about to say, White Shark, you can catch up on the discussion as it was led with the chat, but I don't believe, I think the chat only starts wherever you start, right? Okay, now let's let us ThermSpy and rerun. Oh, this might crash because of the sysinfo thing. Eliminate sleep. Wow, we have an eliminate sleep person. Whoa. So what's your thinking? You just think, oh, sleep takes up more time than eating, therefore I'll get more time left back in my life. Is that your thinking? Because that's, I mean, of course, everyone is different. Every person is different, right? Like, but I would imagine that you're in the minority there. So, in case people are not aware, just to bring it back to benching a tiny little bit, um, there was a sysinfo update, I think like 2 years ago now, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe only 3D Mark 11 and Vantage are affected by this. But it means with this like newer, let's say, version of sysinfo, it means that for some reason you can't just keep the benchmark open and rerun and rerun and rerun. It will just give you a sysinfo error. If you guys know a way to work around it, I would be very, very interesting to hear that. But as far as I'm aware, the only fix is to relaunch the bench, which is annoying. Okay, now that the GTs are running again, let's let's catch up with chat again. If you were forced to choose, but Paul, you don't have to go into too much detail. But like, is your choice like is the race close? Like, by saying forced to choose, are you saying it's just difficult for you to decide, or do you actually think those two superpowers are not really all that useful? And if someone's putting a gun to your head, you would just choose one because, like, why not? Because you have to choose one. Which what meaning of forced do you mean? Okay, let's scroll back. So Hawthorne, I would personally find a replacement for having dinner with the GF. Um, are you saying, does that mean that you lean towards eliminating sleep instead of food, or do you just think, are you just making a statement that you would choose to eliminate eating, but one of the challenges or one of the things to keep in mind when you go that route would be that you would have to find another thing to do with your girlfriend besides having dinner? I don't know if that's like, I don't know what the kind of context of that discussion is. Nice to just sit down and talk about stuff. No, I mean, like, these kind of social rituals, like, they're not eliminated. Like, um, it's kind of like, I don't know if this is a good comparison. Let me know if it's a crap comparison. But I feel like, these days more and more, it's more acceptable not to drink alcohol, like to make this like health choice, not to drink alcohol. And people who don't drink alcohol still go for drinks with their friends, right? But they have a mocktail, or they just sit there with a glass of sparkling water. Like, nobody, I mean, it depends on how cool your friends are or whatever and what generation you're in and so on. But I would say that, in general, even if it's a group of like 15 people, if there's one person not drinking alcohol, no one's going to pick on them or bully them or whatever. They're just going to have just as much fun as everyone else. And I feel like if you eliminated food from your life, you could still go out to dinner with people, but you would either not eat anything and just have drinks with them, um, or maybe just order like a few like bits and pieces of food that you just want to taste, because you don't need that volume of food. It's all optional, right? And I mean, I don't know if there are any Star Trek fans here, but this is really going off the deep end. But if you have watched Star Trek: The Next Generation, there is the character of Data, and Data is an android and therefore does not require eating, but he does have all of the organs and whatever to eat for like social reasons. And his quest over 7 years of the TV show and what is it, 4 movies or something, is to become more human. He wants to become more like a human. And that's why he takes eating quite seriously, actually, and is quite curious about it, even though he doesn't need it. And I sort of feel like someone who picked this superpower would sort of like, in a small way, turn into Data, which is not a bad thing. Yeah, Kick, you pointed out you suffer from sleep issues. Yeah, that's fair enough. Again, like, this choice is more, I mean, not to exclude anyone or whatever, but like, I feel like the choice is that this choice that we're talking about here is a more interesting kind of discussion for people who have like quote unquote regular sleep and regular like eating habits. Like, obviously, if you're an insomniac or you have bulimia or whatever, then this discussion maybe is like a no-brainer, or maybe doesn't make any sense at all. But like, if you're like, you don't have any specific health issues related to eating and sleeping, then I think that this choice is like a very personal thing and really interesting. So Therm Spy gave me 80 points. That's actually quite a lot. I didn't expect that. Yeah, let's just sensor tab it again. So that's 41,850. Okay, what's next? So relaunch the bench if it cooperates. Oh, Precision X seems to work. Let's try that. Paul, I'm still catching up with the chat. Paul is like, what did I just walk into? Yeah, fairly fucking random discussion, even by my standards. Let's go plus 250. So these NVIDIA cards is a bit confusing because the plus mem clock is effective, not real. So plus 250 is actually plus 125 in GPU-Z. So let's go plus 300. Should be a safe thing to set. And rerun. Okay, Hawthorne's question I already talked about. I guess, Paul, the catch up for White Shark also caught you up. Let me know if not. I can re-summarize. Oh, Hawthorne, the MVP. Superpower questions. Would you rather not have to eat or sleep? Paul, I see both of these. Okay, Paul. Okay, now you answered the question that I had earlier. I just hadn't gotten to that part of the chat. I like eating and sleeping, but just to re-specify, it's just it's just eliminating the absolute necessity of eating or sleeping. You're free to still choose eating or sleeping, and like we kind of discussed earlier, I guess to summarize the whole aspect of, oh, what if I want to go to sleep but I'm not sleepy because I have this superpower of never being sleepy? Use the soporific, like drink a hot cocoa or take a sleeping pill or whatever. And like for eating, like we've all eaten without being hungry, right? But like I guess there must be some sort of pill or something that you can eat to feel hungry even if you're not hungry. I don't know. Let's not go too deep into that part, but would asking the question of a sleepy or hungry person affect the outcome? I think it does. Like, isn't there that psychological study? I mean, it's not. You don't even need to study for this. You just you can probably just tell from experience. Like, if you go to the supermarket when you're hungry, you buy more stuff. Yeah. So ideally, yes. If you were to make a survey out of this, like ask 100 people, then for that survey result to be as scientifically significant as possible, you would need to ask like preparatory kind of questions at the beginning, where you ask every survey respondent, are you currently sleepy or hungry? And if they are, you keep asking the question, but not to be rude, but you exclude their results from the actual summation at the end. I'm not using Salty's OS. Could you please specify what Salty's OS? I've been traveling a little bit at the moment, so I'm not the best at keeping up with the Discord to begin with, but certainly at the moment I'm kind of behind on that. So is there something special about Salty's OS? Should I be using it? Is it faster in some way? Salty's a Z790. Evil hacker cam, yes. Your coworker agrees. Yeah, but I think, yeah. Um, when I like way back, like 20 years ago, when I originally asked this question from some people, I did get a lot of these kind of answers of, "Oh, I like both. What are you talking about? I wouldn't get rid of either." But it's just I have to be like super clear about this. It's not this is not is it's just taking away the urge to eat or sleep. It's not taking in any way taking away the enjoyment of eating or sleeping. Like if you feel like if you're a person who who actually thinks they would benefit a lot from getting the 8 hours in the day back for like productivity of some sort, but at the same time really enjoys sleeping or dreaming, then that should not exclude you from picking that option, because in that case what you would do is you would pick that option, but you would like set aside some certain days of the week or whatever when it's convenient to your schedule, where you would induce sleep in yourself and dream or whatever, lucid dream or whatever else. 7 years on average people spent eating. Yeah, I think it's just a waste of time, man. The later drivers get unhappy with clock stretching. What is clock stretching? Can you? I wasn't able to install the later driver anyway, so it's kind of a moot point. But can you just educate me on clock stretching? Anything other than the GPU-Z render test makes the effective clocks half of the set ones. But I'm on a pretty old driver. I'm on 391 now. I think that's old enough, right? Extracted driver vs 7-zip. I think this driver should score fine, but yeah, I'll keep it in mind. Oh, okay. Thanks for the tip, Hawthorne. I do know a local bencher who's really looking for a 980. So I'll forward that message. Thanks. Bad sleep ruin your day much more than bad food. But okay. I think you're inverting the problem, White Shark. If the challenge in your life is more sleep related than food related, the answer would be, oh, okay, yeah, sorry, okay, I misunderstood. Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's actually a really valid way of approaching things. Is if you personally have much bigger challenges with one than the other, then you would eliminate the one with the challenge for sure. 42990. Okay, cool. Ooh, there's. How do I? Nice. How do I don't know how any of this works. Oh, 12 millivolts. Great. Okay, let's not mess with that for now. Let's go plus 100 here. This is probably way too low, but and save it to a profile. And it's not gonna run, so let's close and reopen. I believe. Whoa, this is a hot take, Paul. We'll have to dissect this further. So, okay. Hopefully, there's not something lost in translation here. So, I believe none of these. This is really controversial because actually, if I had the choice, even though I like sleeping, if eliminating food was not an option, and the option was either to take up the superpower of not having to sleep or not, I would still take it up. So I actually think both are useful. I just think that the eating one is way more useful than the sleeping one. But you say that neither of them are useful. But like, just consider this, right? Like, since COVID, like the cost of living increases, like groceries are extremely expensive. Eating out in a restaurant is extremely expensive. Like, if even if all you were doing was eliminating eating, and then choosing, because you enjoy it so much, choosing to eat like 80% of the time that you previously did, wouldn't that be amazing? Like, you'd save so much money. I can kind of understand where you're coming from on eliminating sleeping not being useful, because you don't save money. Like, I guess you don't have to buy a bed, but there's really, like, that's a really tiny expense. So, and like, you still might want to nap or just like chill out in your bed, like especially on a cold winter's morning, like even if you don't have to sleep, right? Like, so potentially the saved money, like, if, let's put it this way, depends on the bit. Let's put it this way. What was I gonna say? Oh, is that a crash? That was not the end of the GT. Wow. Okay. Okay. Let's. Ooh, interesting. Let us go plus 50 then, and let's chill down even more. Let's make sure that the clock's really applied. Oh, I think I might need to restart. Alright, no, it's fine. Okay, so let's break this down. Okay, let's try to view this from the point of view who doesn't think, from a point of view of a person who doesn't think the superpowers are useful. Okay, I think the food one, it's got to be useful, right? Like, because let's say you're a student and there's just 1 month in the year where you're struggling with your budget a little bit. Wouldn't you just like eat just 5% less, just to save a little bit of money, just to get over the hump? So I think the food one is definitely, I don't think there's any argument to be made that it's not useful, unless you so desperately enjoy the sensation, the feeling of being hungry, because that's all it really takes away. You can still enjoy food, like, intellectually, with this superpower in place, unless like you have some fetish for feeling hungry. Like, literally, that superpower is always going to have a use. The sleeping one is a little bit more complicated, because if you are a person who doesn't feel like there's any sort of productivity to be gained by having the extra 8 hours in the day, which I am actually that person, and I think there are a lot of people who are like that, then, and B, you really enjoy sleeping, and with a superpower in place you would just end up sleeping 8 hours a day anyway because you really enjoy it, then I can certainly see the viewpoint that the sleeping superpower is not useful. Okay, let's try and catch up with chat. Eliminating food to replace with more sleep. Yeah, that's the Gosu move. That's the killer move. Yep, I've seen it. Oh, as in Hawthorne, you mean TNG, like Star Trek, right? That I might do, not gonna lie. Yeah, I mean, sleeping, man. Oh, I mean, it gets complicated, right? Because there is such a thing. So let's say you pick the eating, the superpower. That then means that your sleeping, like, habits and challenges are unaffected. And not for everyone, I'm sure, but for me, certainly, there is such a thing as oversleeping, where you oversleep and then you feel more tired because you just slept 11 hours and you really only needed 8. So I think that's eliminating eating in order to sleep more may not work for everyone, but I understand where you're coming from. What chips on the card? I mean, GPU-Z, detection is never super accurate, right? So I'm going to physically check if I can read. Yeah, from memory, I think it was Hynix. I've got Vaseline on the memory IC, so it's hard to read. But yes, this card has a strong core. I've run it on chiller up to 1550 or so before, but I think the memory is like 2000. Like, it's not amazing. Oh, White Shark depends on the bed, as in, like, some people spend a lot. Yeah, like I have back problems, so like it could switch around again, right? Like, you could definitely imagine a person who eats nothing but like canned beans every day, all day, but has like a $5,000 bed with a really fancy mattress in it, where illegitimately maybe the cost of sleeping is higher than the cost of eating. I mean, that would be a very unusual case, but I can see it. I mean, I certainly like, I have like a king size bed with like a really thick, fancy, like foam latex mattress in it, and that costs like 2,500 Aussie dollars or something. So yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. I was trying to generalize. Like, you could you take it to an even further extreme. Like, if you went to a soup kitchen every day and literally had free food, but somehow were rich and you were just like ripping off the soup kitchen, and you had like a $10,000 bed, then yes, maybe you do want to eliminate sleeping, so you don't need that bed. I don't know. Anyway. Can't wait to watch the efficiency fall off a cliff on the 5700X. Well, if you're on the Discord, specifically the like Unity OC streaming general chat, Infrared put in there that the AMD architectures, at least for these GTs, don't lose a ton in his testing, for what that's worth. Okay, let me just quickly screenshot this, and then I'll just start off a new run. Okay, so we are going in the right direction. I don't know if this score is any good whatsoever, but we are at least increasing score, so that's good. I just want to catch up with the chat before the messages get like super old and irrelevant. Let's go 50 megahertz steps, which is actually 25 effective. Which I can already eat 5% less. I don't know if that's a joke, but again, I'm not an anthropologist or something. I don't have like some sort of deep knowledge of humanity and how, or like biologist even, or a medical doctor, but I can just talk for myself and a lot of the people around me. Like, the feeling of being hungry or not being full, not eating enough in a meal, like, is actually kind of like, it's distracting and annoying, right? And like, does it kick in at 5% less food already? Maybe not. But just the general point, I'm taking this comment that you made seriously. Maybe it was a joke and you can laugh at me for taking it seriously. But the general comment I was trying to make is, choosing the not eating superpower would give you the ability to save money and or time by eating less when it makes sense in your life, which you don't have currently. You can't just, without any consequences on your health or your mental well-being or your weight or whatever, you can't just cut half of your food. Easily, at least. Okay. I guess I do understand the argument of food being expensive, but yeah, I would absolutely still eat often. I don't know, maybe I'm like unusual or something, but like, I have plans. Like, that Jane Nash upskirt shot, every time I have to look at it. Anyway, whatever, like, I make a decent living, so the cost of food isn't a massive concern in my life, but I would just like having the flexibility. Like on a day, let's say I'm sightseeing somewhere. Like I want to go to this museum and this viewpoint and this hike or whatever. I want to do things that are not food related, and I fill up my day because I only have certain number of vacation days, or I'm only in a city for a certain amount of time, and I often feel like not like okay, even if you're a foodie, right? Not every destination in the world has good local food that's like, oh, worth trying, and it's an experience, and you can't go to Singapore without trying street food. You can't go to India without trying a curry. There are definitely places in the world that are worth seeing as a tourist that have, I don't want to offend anyone, I'm not going to say names of countries, but don't have food, local food that I'm interested in or anyone's interested in really. And in those kind of scenarios, it's nice to just do the other stuff without being like, oh fuck, it's 1 p.m. I need to eat. You know? Sleeping I see less arguments for because I'm bored during most of the day and night, and it's even more boring because other people are sleeping and everything is closed. Very, very valid points. So it's kind of the two sides are kind of counter to each other. Like, are they? No, in both cases, you're kind of like, the argument can be made that the superpower is kind of annoying because you're going to stand out in your social group kind of thing. If you don't sleep, it's like, oh, you're the weirdo, and you're going to be up at night like playing the PlayStation or something when everyone else is asleep in the household or whatever. And with food as well, like with food, it's less so, I feel like. Because I already mentioned the scenario of like, there's a lot of people who are not alcoholics and they just have a mocktail and everyone's fine with it, you know? White Shark, why would it not be accurate? Oh, you mean GPU-Z detection? Yeah, maybe on a 770 it's always accurate. I have certainly come across scenarios where the writing, it's rare. I understand your point, White Shark, but it does happen that the writing on the chip doesn't match GPU-Z sometimes. I've never had issues with it. Okay. GPU 51.7. Okay, so 51.7 is the goal today then. Paul, I could just visit England. Spoken like a true Frenchman. Hating British food. I mean, British. Let's not mince any words. Like, British food is pretty fucking shocking, but for you to be the first person to say it is kind of funny. Okay. So my beer's done. Could resub, yeah. So I have caught up with the chat. A lot of fun chatting with you guys. I'll just mention it one more time for the VOD. I am serious. If 100 people spam me with their ideas on this hypothetical superpower scenario in the Discord, I'll be totally cool with it. I do actually want to hear people's opinions because it's definitely something that can be debated. It's not like, oh, of course I'll pick A, of course I'll pick B. That kind of scenario, it definitely isn't. I just, because of the person I am and the personal preferences that I have a clear choice, but I absolutely recognize the fact that the pick would be different for other people. Now, what I didn't expect was Paul's answer of I wouldn't pick either superpower. Like, I feel like superpowers are made to be like used, like even invisibility. Like, people think, oh, invisibility is cool. Like, I feel like even invisibility is a much more situational superpower than people might think. But fuck yeah, would I pick it? I certainly would fucking pick it. I wouldn't just be like, oh, well, it has no use. Thanks, Genie. Don't give me the superpower. I think that's an insane, that's an insane attitude to have. But you know, we live in a free country, mate. Whatever you want to do. Okay. I'll ask the GF. Yeah, seriously. I mean, I don't. I'm honestly, guys, I'm not gonna get offended. Like, I know that this is an extremely hypothetical scenario. I know it's extremely contrived. I understand the reactions of what the fuck are you talking about? I wouldn't pick either. I'd pick both, whatever. But I do want to hear people's opinions. I think it's um, I hope what I hope doesn't happen. Like, I know, like. I could just keep talking about this. This is like, there's endless complexities to this question, but like I know that in the like past 20 years, let's say, the number of foodies, let's say, have gone up in the world. So those people might be like compelled to answer, no, of course I wouldn't eliminate food. Food is amazing. Food is the best thing ever. I think hopefully I can make this pitch convincingly because I'm not a foodie, but I would think that even for foodies, the choice isn't as clear cut as it may appear. Because, like I say, you can still eat afterwards. It just eliminates the absolute biological and physical necessity to eat. That's all it does. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's. I'm keeping the discussion open. Like, if the stream goes for another hour, feel free to throw in new scenarios, new like opinions, new like things to consider that we haven't considered yet for the rest of the stream. I won't be offended or annoyed by it at all. Like I say, I find this topic fascinating. However, I will now try and shift focus a little bit to the actual benching. So this card, like I said, is good. It has a good core. I've run it up pretty high on chiller. I think I used to hold the 03 record with card on chiller and CPU on LN2. I think it was a 9700K back then. I'm just slowly chicken clocking up. I'll have to double check the LOD settings. That's certainly one more thing to look at. Obviously, no idea if this is the best driver, no idea if, in general, this is a very strong Vantage OS, but that's not to say that on this card it will actually turn out to be the best Vantage OS. Now, in previous runs, when I ran this card on chiller, I had voltage control through the classified tool, which I will have to locate on my NAS and then copy over to the drive for the people who joined late. I'm having difficulties with USB port detection for some reason. When I previously, like basically before the stream, I imaged this OS and I was having issues with driver install, but I did get the exact same USB key to detect, but now it doesn't detect, which is kind of weird, but I'll work around it by shutting down and attaching the OS to the laptop. So that's kind of, once I find, first of all, who in the chat is actively benching in this comp? I haven't looked at the comp results recently. Who is actively benching it? I assume White Shark is. And what was I going to say? Yeah, Hawthorne, yeah, you're in it. What have you found? Like, what's the scaling like in this bench? And the reason there's two reasons so I'm not going to bench the other two stages. I think is the number. There's 3 total stages tonight, just because Vantage is a hard bench to optimize on its own. I'm not going to have the time to go into any other benches. And the reasons I picked the bench for tonight, I think it's cool. It's just a chill bench to run because it has such long GTs. But I also like the bench. I like running and optimizing the bench. But also because I don't currently own a 13900K or 4900K or KS or KF or whatever. And the other bench, I only briefly looked at the other benches, but if I remember right, they are with CPU test enabled, which on the 13600K, it's gonna score okay, but I don't really want to mess with those. I mean, I will submit them for the comp just to get the comp points, but I feel like a GT's only bench, which I think this is the only GT's only bench in the comp, it's just more suitable because I can just disable eCores, disable SMT / hyperthreading, and just go to town. Oh, nuts and bolts. Yeah, I keep forgetting. So So Hawthorne, links are enabled in the chat. Would you mind? Is that So I have someone asking where this card is. Would you mind putting a link to whatever sale site you found that New Zealand card on, so I can pass on that link? Thanks. Okay, so we've broken 44k. So 44,158. Oh, trade me. The only thing I'm trying to remember, there's is there another one called Bid Me Up or something in New Zealand? There was one New Zealand site I wanted to buy stereo gear from once, and they like I made an account and it was like, oh, your account is being checked by admins, and then they just never got back to me. And then I put in a help request saying, hey, I am a new user from Australia. Your site says it supports users in Australia. I made an account and the account is still not active. Can you please help me? And the reply was something along the lines of, oh, we need your like driver's license and shit. And I even sent that in, and then there was just no reply. I'm like, fuck. And it was like a pretty legit site. Food also. Eliminate food, right? Not keep food. You never know about sellers. Like, very often, I mean, in the past at least, I've... Remove it. Okay. So... in my I've got a I'm gonna start taking notes here. So okay, food / sleep superpower survey. So white shark, sleep, UNIOC, Hawthorne, GF, food, and then Paul, are you still in the neither camp, just to be like a contrarian, or have I convinced you to pick something else? And oh, Croker, did you want to put in a vote? One. This has been fun. Yeah, it's been fun hanging out with you guys. Okay, Croker is eliminate sleep. Okay, so that means... So the current status is 2 for sleep, 3 for food, and 1 neither. Paul, you can be the deciding vote. Are you still not going to pick something? Okay, we're on to GT2. I'm just going to quickly mute... Ooh. I said we were on to GT2, but... Okay. What I'm going to do is... I'm gonna go, that kind of looked like it was close to passing. So I'm gonna go 25 megahertz steps. Does GPU VMem do anything, by the way? Not that I currently have access to it. Yeah, I have the classified tool, I just haven't loaded it up. Like I was saying earlier, I haven't loaded it up onto this OS yet, but that will be the next step. So I'm just going to start a run, and Just make sure GT1 starts, and I'm just going to quickly go away and get another beer, and I'll be back soon. 2.0. Yeah, I should have a copy of it. Whatever runs I have up on HardwareBot are with voltage control, so that did work. So I assume I have a copy on my NAS. I'll just have to dig it up. But let's just wait for GT1 to start, and I'll grab a beer. Be right back. So looks like that might have been a random crash at the start of GT2, or maybe that 25 really made the difference. What voltage are you going to go to when to 1.4? Okay, let's just pull up my score, because the last time I benched this card is like 5 years ago. From memory, I think I went 1.55 or thereabouts, but really my memory is super hazy. So let's, instead of trying to guess something, let's just go to my, I believe the 03 score might have the classified tool. Yes. So this is so old, 2018. It's so old. It's on fucking KB Lake X. Jesus Christ. Okay, so what did we do? We went 1.5, yeah. But I maybe there was no more scaling in 03. I do remember at least trying 1.55. Oh, and it's detecting as Samsung. Okay, so it is Samsung. So would that be what's holding back my memory clocks? Is that because someone said earlier that Hynix is better? So is it just Sammy versus Hynix, or do I even have bad memory chips for the standards of Samsung? Okay. So, but GDDR5 is an interesting generation. It's like DDR3 on the system side, because it has so many different ICs and so many different variables. Even though Hynix can go higher on certain cards and certain PCBs, the kind of general consensus is that on cold, Samsung holds up better. But of course, that consensus was reached before the invention of socket heaters, which may totally change that whole calculation, let's say. Okay, end of the run. Let's watch the score pop up. Worse. Interesting. Okay, this is where the obsessive compulsive comes in. I don't like having an an OS that every time it pops up with oh, it's non-genuine, and you have to click away the pop-up. So I'm gonna genuinize the OS. Okay, so ginger nuts, very important. Ginger nuts, welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. For those who don't know, Ginger is a local Aussie bencher that also participates in, among other things, Country Cup together with me and many other Aussie benchers. But the question of the day, Ginger Nuts, very, very important. If you could choose a superpower and your choice is between two superpowers, either why do I need to restart? Let's restart one more time. Either you eliminate the need for your body to eat, or you eliminate the need for your body to have to sleep. Which one do you choose? Meanwhile, Croker is like, what the fuck? Why are we going back to this topic? I'm rebooting. There's nothing happening on the bench table anyway. Chill. Scales a bit more with voltage. Okay, so I should try DDR voltage. What did you try saying that the chatbot deleted your message? Now I'm curious. Okay, that background color is pretty AIDSy though. Let's change that. It's through the personalized menu. What are my favorite solid colors? This one's pretty good. I thought there was another one I liked. There we go. That's easy on the eyes. Let's render test. Okay, let's go back into Precision X. No sleep orgies would last for much longer. I think we have a winner. Okay, let's keep track of this. So Ginger says no sleep. So now we have a tie. 3 votes each for sleep and food. And Paul is still in the neither camp, or he had to go back to work or whatever. I don't know. This is funny. Thermspy. You fall asleep at orgies. Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Part-time philosopher. Hey, there's not too much going on benching wise. You can't, Croker, I understand where you're coming from, but I don't think there's any massive benching knowledge that I could be imparting to the stream ahead instead of the sleep or eat discussion. Feel free, I mean, honestly, feel free to ask questions about the card, about the rig or whatever, but I feel like we have all that under control, so we're free to fill the airtime with the philosophical discussion. You fall asleep at orgies. Oh, that's the quote of the day, that's for sure. All right, okay, so I'm gonna run this just because the OS has gone from genuine mode to test mode. I just want to make sure that I'm still scoring okay, and then pretty soon I think I will copy over the classify tool. In fact, let me have a dig around my NAS for it. Okay, so I'm seeing one classified tool here. I'm seeing 2 classified tools. This is from 2017, so that sounds like it might be a winner. I might just copy both of them over. I think they're both the same, but let's copy both of them over after this run, and we should be good to go. Okay, sorry, I'm getting so many personal texts. So I probably should just shut. As a courtesy to the viewers, I'm. The way my mind works, it's quite a multitasking mind, which is probably good for streaming, because for streaming you kind of like you have to keep a little bit of an eye on your cameras, like staying running and all that, and an eye on your rig, an eye on your chat and so on. But in this case, it's kind of detracting from the stream because I had my personal WhatsApp and Signal and Discord open, so I'm closing those down. Sorry for that. That's actually rude of me. And Discord as well. Yeah, that can wait for after. Okay, full focus on the chat on the bench rig now. All been in jest. Okay, that's good to hear. No, I mean, to get back to his philosophical discussion, I do like. I mean, I'm a stream viewer as well. Just to give you some context, I do like watching other overclocking streams. Though I used to watch a little bit of Diablo 3, but that game has kind of died. But certainly when seasons were still big in Diablo 3, I would watch Diablo 3 streamers. Excuse me. And also Warcraft 3 is a big one. I like watching Warcraft 3. It's a 20-year-old game, but I think it's just a fantastic competitive game, and the scene is as alive as it's ever been, basically. But all that to say that I do get the point of when streams go a bit too off track, like it is a bit discouraging and annoying sometimes. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so I unfortunately, it does appear that Paul has dropped out of the stream, so we're gonna forever be in a tie here for the survey. But any new person who joins the chat, feel free to cast your vote, because this is really edging me. It's the fact that we're at a literal tie. Transitions of and jobs right now. Okay, no, I mean honestly, like, okay, there's 2 points to make about OC streaming. There are actually 3 points to make. I think that given the state of streaming for like gaming, like how tough it is, how big the percentage of zero viewer average streams is, I think in terms of like growing like a modestly sized viewer base in OC streaming, like now that I've done it for 7 years, right, which is crazy to think about. I started in 2017. I think that getting some viewers, like I think like a 50 viewer OC stream is hard to pull off. I'm speaking from experience here, but to get some viewers and some engagement is actually OC is actually a good topic to do it in. And I do like, and I think, and I do believe that they're okay. So it's there or thereabouts. I don't know why I don't get this like 4,400 result anymore, but let's just get the classified 2 loaded on here. But so it's what I'm trying to say is it's not as oversaturated a market as gaming. A lot of gaming is. But the other thing is, I do genuinely believe that there is not enough gaming streaming, or sorry, OC streaming, because it's such a broad subject, right? Like so, like you have like a handful of streamers, but they all do wildly different things. So if you also consider consider the fact that, you know, viewers are in different time zones and so on, like I think we're so many streamers short of having enough, quote unquote. So I need to turn on the rig again. So there's those two things, and then the third thing is like, you know, people have different people have different attitudes towards different aspects of streaming. Like a lot of people don't necessarily like the tech part of it, like how do you use OBS or whatever streaming tool you use, how to use your cameras, what cameras to get, where to set them up, how to test your internet so it's good enough, etc., etc. But I actually like that part because I do photography, like outside of overclocking, I do photography anyway, so I like talking about cameras and stuff. So if you need someone to talk to about what capture card to get or whatever, just hit me up on Discord. Okay, so I copied over the classified to I mean, it seems to have just detected the card fine. Now let's look at current monitoring. Well, voltage monitoring. Go off auto. Go. I mean, it's a heavy bench, so let's go 1.4. That seems to have applied, so that's good. How's TDP looking? Like, am I in any sort of danger of hitting perf cap? 60% TDP. That seems okay. So now we're pretty close to the limits of the memory for what voltage is set and what cooling I have on there. So now let's go 100 core offset. I forgot to save the profile. What am I missing? I think that's it. Boom, boom, and this. Yeah, I'll just ramp it up. Okay, so I've got kind of gone away from this notion. I'm like kind of like a slower bencher now than I was in the past. Like I used to put a lot of faith in this idea of, okay, let's take notes on this particular CPU or this particular GPU. I mean, I know the next time I have a session in 5 years' time, I can just set exactly that. But the notes are still useful. It's a good reference. But I found more and more that stuff just degrades sitting in a drawer somewhere or whatever. And I do have the assumption that this card is good, but I'm still going to work up the clocks because it may not clock the same as it used to. Yeah, tons of untapped potential. Yeah. Trackmania. I'm not really a gamer. Can you try to explain maybe in just 3 words or something what Trackmania is? Is that a racing game? Sorry, I said I wouldn't be distracted, but I do have one chore that I quickly have to get done on my browser here. But we're mid-run. There's not a zillion things to talk about right now. All right, so tool assist, TAS as in tool assisted speedrunning. Yeah, I like speedrunning. So, okay, sorry, let me just do this one thing and then, mother. Okay, I may as well explain the situation. People are probably going to think this is the most boring thing ever, but I'm actually like an aviation geek, and I'm flying somewhere next week. And what happened was so dumb. My preferred browser is Firefox, but every once in a while, because people are really shit at programming websites, basically, every once in a while you bump into some sort of incompatibility in the browser, and then I switched to Chrome. But I was booking this flight, and I was using freaking flyer miles, so like it wasn't really costing me any money or whatever. But I still had to click through, like, here's the flight you want, here's the seat you want, here's your passenger details, and then at the very end, it takes a payment just for the taxes. And at that very last spot, it like errored out. It just blanked the screen. It didn't confirm the booking. So I closed that tab and opened up Chrome and did the same thing again, and I was able to book, and then the payment did go through, and I got a booking number. Though that previous booking was still in the system, just unpaid, which means, because I work in the travel industry, I know way too much about this, but it goes on like a so-called ticketing deadline, where you have a booking locator, like you have a reference number, but because it's unpaid, it's unticketed. So it's confusing wording, but it's like it's a confirmed booking that's unticketed, and it goes on to this timer, like a 2-hour timer, where if you don't pay within the 2 hours, that gets released again. So I when I started the stream, that timer was still going. Because of course I picked my absolute favorite seat. Like there's this whole thing about, okay, so that's a pass. There's this whole thing about like the best window seat to sit at, so you have the best view and the best seat and the least noise. It's just the whole science around it I don't want to go into. So, but I basically, effectively, the long and the short of it was, because that booking was still pending, I could now, with the booking that I actually did make and complete and ticket, because the payment did go through for it, I couldn't pick my favorite seat, because that other booking that was still on a 2-hour timer still had that seat. And I was like, okay, I'll just wait for the 2-hour timer to expire. And that's what's happened now. The booking is no longer there. I can see that it's been released. But for some reason, I either got really, really, really unlucky, and in the time since the 2-hour timer expired, someone's picked that seat, some other person, or for some unknown reason, the seat is still being held by this phantom booking that's never going to be made because it's a duplicate. I was hoping to be able to go into my actual booking now and pick the seat that's newly released from a booking that was never going to confirm and which is doomed to be thrown away. But somehow the seat is still taken, and the flight is quite full because it's next week, so I think I'm just stuck with a slightly less good seat, which is annoying. Because I'm flying business class, and I want it to be a special experience, and I want the exact window seat that I want, but now I'm stuck in the one next to the galley, which... First world problems, right? Like, that's the absolute fucking definition of a first world problem. Someone should play the world's tiniest violin for me. I know it's totally insignificant, but being an aviation geek, these things are important to me. Let me try and pick the second best seat now, which is going to be a whole other science. I mean, what it's really going to come down to is I'm going to log into the website religiously every single day, hoping for another seat to open up. That's basically what it's going to come down to. But in the meantime, I'm going to pick the second best seat, 19K. Do I want 19K or 19A? These are such fucking minutia, but you know, I just. What can I say? I'm into this shit. 19A it is. Boom. Reserve. Ironic that you start talking about aviation just as a Eurofighter deafens me. Oh, that upskirt shot. I missed it. I only saw it on the stream. Okay, so 19A it is. Sweet. Now for the second connecting flight. So in the second flight, that ideal seat has been opened up for some fucking bizarre reason. Okay, so maybe there's just some weird delay. Okay, cool. Let's grab it. Okay, so 1 out of 2 ain't bad. Okay, let's go back, make sure it's taken. 19A, 15K. Okay, sweet. Cool. Cool. You might fly over to Australia for... yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so maybe to talk about the local scene a bit, like a lot of people are pretty... so there's a few challenges involved. I'm not saying that there's not going to be an LM2 meetup, but just so you're aware, I mean, obviously Australia is a massive country. It's like almost the size of Europe. And people are pretty much from every state in Australia. So it's quite time consuming and expensive for people to meet up. Now, the places that are kind of most centrally located for people to meet up at are Adelaide and Melbourne. And we've tended to meet up in Adelaide because we have a connect for LN2 there that's really cheap and convenient and reliable. So like a lot of the scene, people in the scene are, I don't want to say older, like that sounds a bit derogatory, but like certainly of a generation that they have like families and commitments and things. So that's also contributed to there being fewer overclocking meetups. So it's kind of two different scenarios. In a year where we participate in Country Cup or annual, we tend to have like one or fewer overclocking meetups per year. In a year that we decide to participate in Country Cup, it's a Country Cup, which if you wanted to, I mean, I don't think there's a Harborbot rule against switching flags in your profile. So I mean, there is one other Kiwi who has over the years participated in Country Cup for Australia. So if you were cool with that, that would be an option. Like obviously, otherwise, if you stay with New Zealand, that means you're kind of a competitor in Country Cup. So I don't think you could really participate in the Country Cup bench meet in that case. The other scenario is in a year where we decide not to participate in Country Cup. We do also have a meetup. It kind of varies, but okay, that's the end of GT2. Cool, that was kind of quick. Hey, Spit. 46K, there we go. As we say in Ireland, now she's sucking diesel. All right, okay, cool, let's save that. And just keep going up in 50 megahertz steps. Save the profile just in case. So now we're into the 1400s, which is nice. Yeah, okay, I mean, New Zealand is just, I mean, I've been using the same LN2 supplier for many years now, and I often chat to the guy about like LN2 supply in general and how it works and why it's more expensive in certain places than in other places. And my understanding is that either there isn't any LN2 production at all in New Zealand and it's all imported from Australia, or there's like a monopoly and that company charges an outrageous amount, and that's why the prices are so high. I mean, even in Australia, it varies extremely. You can get quotes of $10 a liter and get quotes of $1.5 a liter. Yeah, BOC exists in Australia too, and I don't really have anything positive to say about them. I mean, I'm not super up to date on the current exchange rate, but I think I'm right in saying the New Zealand dollar is still worth less than the Aussie dollar, so $5 doesn't sound that bad at all. I don't know, people in maybe just to give like a quick survey, these prices might be outdated, but just in a relative sense. At this point, I probably pay just under $2 a liter. Adelaide would be even cheaper, $1.50 a liter. Melbourne is tough. Melbourne used to be pretty okay, but I think now it's more in the $3 range. Darwin, I know someone in Darwin, and it's just supply is just impossible. It's not even a question of price, really. I mean, I'm sure if you wanted like 10,000 liters you and paid enough, you'd get it, but supply is just really challenging. Western Australia, I think Spit is there, so you can probably fill us in. There we go. What's that? So 2 point something a liter. That's not too bad. I've heard worse. Where else is there? Tasmania is really, really tricky because I think it's all imported via the ferry from the mainland, so that's really expensive. Like you're talking like 10 probably dollars a liter. Queensland in the $5 range, last I heard. So 5 New Zealand is not outrageous. So Spit, I've been repeating this question many times, so I'm sure people are sick of this question, but I'll try to keep it as short as possible. We have an ongoing discussion, like a philosophical discussion. If someone offered you the choice of a superpower to either eliminate the necessity for sleep in your life, again, you can choose to sleep for enjoyment, but you don't need it to stay alive anymore, or eliminate the necessity to eat, which would you choose of the two? My answer, by the way, was eliminate food. I think eating and preparing food and stuff becomes repetitive and tedious and annoying and time consuming and expensive. So you would eliminate eating. There we go, guys. That's what I wanted to hear. So food is in the lead again. 4 votes to 3. There we go. Go food. Thanks, Spit. That's what I wanted to hear. Nice. I love that like confident, no bullshit answer. Rigged. Like earlier on, so many people had such in-depth questions about, oh, how does this scenario work? And la 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 la. And Spit is just like, eat. Just really matter of fact. Yeah, eating sucks, mate. Get rid of it. All right. To no one's surprise, this is the pass, so that's good, I guess. We're still scaling. We're still happy at 1.4. Oh, that's right. It's isn't it 3 hours later or something in New Zealand than the east coast of Australia? So it's like 11 p.m. All right. Well, since you don't have the superpower yet, I hope you have a good sleep. Thanks for joining the stream. It was fun. So we now have a 47. Okay. $10 p.m. Okay, so 2 hours. Okay. Well, you know, you need your beauty sleep. That's understandable. How can people say no to brisket, ribs, or shin? But Ginger, sorry to sound like a broken record, but again, just to make it absolutely, totally obvious and clear, picking eat doesn't mean that you're now incapable of eating. It just means you don't have an appetite anymore or a physical necessity for nutrition. That's all it means. You can still eat for enjoyment. All right. I am fucking hungry though. I wish I had this superpower right now. You don't compute it, so you think that, like, even in this super hypothetical scenario, it doesn't make any sense. Like, you think it wouldn't work. Like, picking eat would just, you'd still be hungry, or what are you trying to say? I mean, we're talking genie asks you a question type stuff here. It's just to be clear, I don't have access to technology that would enable the superpower. This is not reality. I'm just hypothetically, for just to have a discussion, asking this question. Oh yeah, let's actually, while GT1 is running, let's actually have some look at some scores. Okay, I need some frame of reference here. I've been streaming for 2 hours and I actually don't really know where I'm at in terms of efficiency or anything, or clocks or whatever. Okay, so here we go. Oh, upskirt shot. Can't miss this. Oh, that's zoom in. All right, okay. Oh, Max Beach actually benched this. This is nice. Okay, let's start with Max Beach's score. He's a solid bencher. Whoa. Fight power, super strength like Wolverine. Okay. Okay. I know it's a really, really contrived scenario. Don't ever think that I think this is like in any way realistic. But just for the purposes of the discussion, I'm limiting it to 2 choices: food or sleep. You could obviously like make it way wider. Be like, all right, eliminate, like, I don't know what else there is that like your body needs. Shelter, eliminate the need for shelter. I don't know if that makes any sense. Or sex, or fucking what, I don't know. You could just make it an endless thing, but then the discussion would be endless as well. I mean, even just with 2 choices, the discussion is pretty much fucking endless. But you know, at least an attempt was made to limit the discussion. All right, okay. Max Beach's score. Here we go. Okay, so under 1400, but still higher GTs. Am I missing something with platform? Is the driver bad? How am I this far behind? Is it all in the? Ooh, is he missing the GPU-Z tab? Oh no, it's here. What's his claimed clocks? Is there so much? in CPU clocks and GPU clocks? What am I missing here? He's on a pretty similar driver to me, but he's on Win 10. Oh, I understand. See, I naturally went to one of my existing Vantage OSs, but of course my existing Vantage OSs would be optimized for full runs. So once you take the CPU tests out of it, because CPU tests would score horribly in Win 10, of course once you take the CPU tests out of it, you have to start considering 8.1 and 10 again. Ah, okay. Light bulb moment. Yeah, alright, well, so, yeah. Maybe just to spell out the scenario a tiny bit more, what I mean by picking the superpower is the things that would go away are both the urge, so to have to do that thing, so sleepiness and tiredness and appetite and hunger would go away. So it's kind of more of a psychological thing, right? So both the psychological need for it would go away and the physical need for it. So as I was explaining earlier, if you don't sleep, eventually you die. It might take weeks, but eventually you die. That's a scientific fact. If you don't eat, okay, let's not get into discussion of, oh, liquid food isn't eating. So like, I know there are like diets out there that are basically liquid, so it's technically drinking, but let's exclude all foods, right? Like juice or whatever, or a smoothie is like quote unquote food, right? So what I'm talking about is, I've been calling it eating so far, but what I really mean is all food, including liquid food. So if you don't take in, I'm including drips and things, right? If you don't take in nutrition at all as a human being, you will die of hunger, of starvation. So picking the superpower would both eliminate the need for nutrition of any kind and the urge, so the hunger. And the same with sleep, right? Both the physical need for sleep and the psychological urge to do it. Now, the itty bitty like details of how does it all work, let's just put that to one side. Let's just imagine suddenly a type of human exists that has no requirement whatsoever for rest in one scenario or nutrition in the other. 47992. Okay, we're going places. Yeah, sorry, Spit. I have not gotten to the point of LOD yet. I'll maximize, within reason, maximize my clocks first, and then I'll start looking at LOD. But feel free, if you have already run this bench and know what the optimal LOD is, feel free to put it in chat what LOD I should be setting. I think it's 0 at the moment, but I can double check once I get a crash from clocks. Basically, I'll start looking at LOD. Let's just make sure we're saving the profile. Okay, now we're getting into the like 1500. That's starting to get to the point where maybe we'll get a clock-based crash, but let's see. If you eat no food, do you not absorb the calories? Okay, yeah, maybe to spell that out a little bit more. My understanding of the scenario is basically whatever tone, whatever form, whatever shape, weight, whatever you are, at the point that you gain the superpower, you would just magically maintain that. Now, that's not to say, somebody brought it up earlier, what if I want to bulk up and become a bodybuilder? Supplements are not, it's a murky scenario. It's a murky like distinction, right? Okay, crash, to the surprise of no one, a crash. It's a murky distinction, but I would say that supplements and stuff still work. Like if you want to do protein shakes and stuff to bulk up, then I would say if you pick the superpower that stops you from having to require food, then you can still bulk up using like supplements and steroids and whatever else. I know that's like debatable, like now it's becoming a different thing, but I feel like you have to give people that option, right? Like if someone is really into bodybuilding or whatever, then if that option did not exist, then they would just pick sleep by default. Okay, so that's fine. Ooh, I didn't. Okay, that does persist between boots. I thought for a second I didn't have volts set. So now what we do, we go into 25 steps. And we got to reapply therm spy. I can already tell this is going to be a longer conversation. You're absolutely free to still eat food. But I was trying to explain this earlier. I think you may not have been on the chat yet. Even people who are foodies and enjoy food, I think there are still scenarios in which they would pick food because you're free to eat 100% the same amount of food as before. But what the superpower gives you is if you're traveling somewhere or you don't have access to food or you're just short of cash that month, you can just go a week without eating. Isn't that a good option to have? You can basically, like, the superpower is like a situational thing. I don't think for almost anyone except people who have like extreme like heartburn and stuff like that and really have a tough time and like indigestion and all of like Crohn's disease, all of these nasty diseases related to the digestive system, those people I feel like maybe would completely stop eating. But I think that the vast majority of people who would pick eating, the superpower of not having to eat, I mean, would eat quite a lot, just maybe not as much as before, because they have the option to skip meals and that kind of thing. Like, haven't you all, I don't know, maybe I'm relating this a bit too much to travel, but haven't you all been at a shitty like terminal at an airport where there's just only outrageously overpriced food options that are extremely unhealthy, and you're like, yep, but I'm really hungry, I gotta pick one of these things, let me have this hot dog in a can or some bullshit, you know, and you hate yourself eating it, but you've got to eat it because it's the only thing around. That's kind of one of the scenarios under which I think this superpower would be worthwhile. I'm not trying to change your mind, Ginger. I'm just trying to give you context why other people have picked this one. That's all. Okay. Okay. So I think we're kind of dead-ended there, but let me do one thing. Let me give it 50 more millivolts and then try again. Let's make sure it applied. That's fine. Let's therm spy it. Let's just try the exact same clocks again. We weren't that far away from them actually. I mean, G2s can be quite a bit heavier. So, but I mean, we're not a million. We weren't a million at 1.4. We weren't a million miles away from passing. So now let's try it at 1.45. Yeah. Okay. This is why this discussion is interesting, right? Because there's no clear-cut first choice for a lot of people. But actually, it totally depends on your own body, right? Like, I actually oftentimes feel like I'm really in the zone benching and it's my hunger that stops me from benching. Oh no, I gotta quickly grab some food, and it's like it's kind of destroying the vibe and stuff, but of course there is the counter argument of when you got, unless you're like a really good power napper, the thing is when a bench session is interrupted by something, when it's food it might only be half an hour or 15 minutes, or it might only be 5 minutes if you're grabbing the food and then eating it at the bench table. Whereas when you gotta sleep for like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, right? But I mean, again, this is like I understand that napping, for example, is something that some people see value in and other people don't. I'm a person who I'm not like the world's greatest power napper, but I do like naps, like a nice 20-minute sleep. It really refreshes me. So I think that's another factor where someone who hates napping or is just bad at napping might be like, yeah, I want to eliminate sleep because it just interferes with my day too much. Whereas I find I'm not much of a foodie, and like I said earlier, I eat slowly. So for me, the balance shifts more towards that. You enjoy making food. See, that's where we differ because I really enjoy sleeping. Like, I wouldn't say it's the highlight of every day, but like, you hate sleeping. So I don't want to like just feel free not to answer these questions, right? I don't want to get too personal or whatever, but like, is it that you have just generally have bad quality sleep? Or is it more a sense of it's hard to get to sleep, so you feel like it's like a chore? Or is it you want to use the all 24 hours of the day to the best of their potential and sleep is getting in the way of that? I did say food, but the missus is now cooking my dinner. Yeah, trouble sleeping. I think that's a major, major factor. Um, yeah, I can see that. It just so depends. Like, there's different types of sleep disorders, I think is the term, right? Like there's the sleep. I have a friend who has pretty bad insomnia. Like there's kind of like two major groups of sleep disorders, I guess. Like, I mean, there's also sleepwalking and stuff, but in terms of quality of sleep, there's like I'm sure there's a term for this, but there's the people who have trouble falling asleep, and there are the people who have trouble staying asleep. And I'm definitely in the second category. I mean, generally, I'm not. I don't have. I mean, never say never, but I don't believe that I actually have a sleep disorder. But I think that all of humanity is kind of divided into. I mean, I'm sure there are the rare, unlucky people who have both. I'm sure that must exist. Those fuckers, like, let's have pity on them. That's really cruel. But in general, you can kind of. I would say, not that I'm an expert or anything, divide humanity into those two big categories of trouble falling asleep and trouble staying asleep. Um, I don't have trouble falling asleep. I mean, maybe like once in a blue moon, if I'm really agitated about something, then yeah, I'll have problems falling asleep. But generally, I don't go to bed until I'm tired, and if I'm tired, I'm hitting the pillow with my head, and I'm out. I have no problems there. What about trouble waking up? Uh, oh no, it's like crashed right at the end there. Okay, let's just rerun that. That was random. I mean, I think that was partially a joke, White Shark, but that's a really valid point. I think you could maybe consider that to be a third category. Actually, I just the people that I know in my personal life, it's not as much of a factor. Oh, the clock's reset. I might have to X out of it. Let's just be super safe and X out of it. But yeah, that's another. Is it a sleep disorder? I don't know. I'm not like I said, I'm not an expert, but yeah, there are those people who oversleep, and oversleeping is kind of an issue in and of itself. Probably not as bad as like full on insomnia, like, because you can always set an alarm, right? Like, and if the alarm doesn't wake you up, set two or set a louder one. It's not. I mean, I'm really ignorant of this. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm probably am wrong. But I would imagine that being one of those people who's like grumpy in the morning because they were woken up by an alarm, that's not as critical of an issue to me as being wide awake at 3 a.m. or after having only slept 3 hours, or being wide awake at 1 a.m. because you can't get to sleep. I think I just had a 49k. Oh, Spit says reboot required after that flash error. Okay, I'll keep it in mind if this run also fails. Yeah, so, but I'm sorry to repeat myself for those who have been around since the start of the stream, but the intention, I don't want to exclude anyone. So all of these answers are interesting and valid and add to the discussion. However, the kind of base intention of my question was for someone who neither has problem. So let's just specify, right? Let's just be really clear about it. So problem sleeping to me would be along the lines of, like we said, oversleeping, trouble falling asleep, trouble staying asleep, and just bad quality sleep in general, sleepwalking, that kind of thing, sleep paralysis. Trouble eating, the likes of anorexia, bulimia, Crohn's disease, heartburn, indigestion, that kind of stuff, like celiac disease, whatever. Again, I don't want to exclude those people. However, like this sort of base, because this is a hypothetical scenario anyway, right? The kind of base scenario, base assumption, let's say, of this scenario is someone who neither has issues sleeping nor eating and just wants to improve their lifestyle, let's say, or their finances or whatever it might be by excluding one of them. That's kind of the scenario. So, because then obviously, if someone has like major issues with either one of those things, then they will just by default pick that one to eliminate because they want better quality of life. Okay, so that's the end of GT1. Opened a can of worms. Okay, GT2. And yeah, Hawthorne, I think maybe you missed that part. I was looking at Max Beach's score, and I noticed Windows 10, and it sort of dawned on me that since we don't have a CPU test here, the usual assumptions of what OS is good for Vantage is totally invalid, because the reason people don't run Windows 8.1 or 10 is because the CPU test suffers so much, and Vantage is quite heavily, in comparison to other 3D Marks, quite heavily biased towards or weighted towards the CPU test. So 8.1 and 10 are just a no-go because of the CPU test. But of course, we're not running it here. Well, the two CPU tests. So then 10 might actually be faster. And it started sort of looking like 10 is faster because Max Beach has a 52.4K, which I'm quite far away from. And okay, obviously my system isn't clocked up, so maybe that's worth a few points. But also, his GPU clocks are actually worse than mine, so I'm obviously losing something there. So yeah, we've basically already determined that the OS is not optimal, but it's not about optimal OS right now anyway. I'm not even saving valid runs. I'm just finding max clocks and best LOD and that kind of thing. Okay. So I was only just beginning to look at scores, so let's look at top. Top score is always a good indicator of a lot of things. So 10 again, yep. My voice is the synced. Okay, are you able to tell if it's early or late? And has it just started to happen? Or has it been all stream? And I don't know when you joined the stream, but if you know the question that I've asked earlier, please cast a vote as well if you feel like casting a vote. Okay, so here's the run is about to finish. Let's go back to the run. It's early. Okay. I can change that on the fly. So next time I'm in the settings, I'll do that. But let's look at this score. 48. Shit, are we starting to kind of OCP a bit or something? Oh, actually, no, we didn't have a 49, so that is slightly faster. Okay. I mean, not really worth the hassle, that extra 25 core, but let's save it anyway for reference of max clocks. What was 48? So that was only 100 points for 20. Was it 50 core? Let's see. Oh, it was 25 core. Okay. All right. So we're still scaling. We might start to hit power limits and things, but we're still scaling as of now. I should have put a poll in chat or something. I think people are going to start to go insane because I keep rephrasing this question. Okay, I'll shorten it even more than the last time I said it. Okay, Mikey, hypothetical scenario. Obviously, this is not realistic. If a genie came to you and gave you a choice of exactly 2 superpowers, and you can only pick one, eliminate the need to eat or eliminate the need to sleep, which would you pick and why? Cue another 20 questions that have already been answered earlier in the stream probably, but that's part of the fun of it, right? Eat. Okay, so you'd eliminate eat or clean eat. Okay, cool. That means eat goes even further ahead in the so Mikey. Hey, MSI Max, did you just hear that question? Would you mind answering it as well? If yeah, sleep is like a reset button, right? Like I absolutely and totally appreciate that every person is an individual and has absolutely different habits and proclivities and things that work well for them and their body and their psyche. But I feel like sleep is just this great reset button. Sometimes you have a really shit day and you kind of go to sleep, like go to bed angry, and you wake up fine, you know? And I just don't think that eating can provide that. I know people are really into their food and they love going to restaurants and they love eating out and it gives them joy, and that's absolutely fine. I have absolutely nothing against that. But can it provide as big of a reset button as sleep can? But then again, in this scenario, you can still eat or sleep even if you pick that as your superpower. Doesn't make it physically impossible for you to do it. You just don't have a physical, biological need for it anymore. Yeah, no, okay, sorry. The superpower locks in your current weight. You don't. That's an interesting question, though. So how would one lose weight had they picked the superpower? So I think I'm sorry to break it to you, Mikey, but unfortunately, in order to both lose weight and use the superpower, you would have to first lose weight under normal conditions to the target weight and then activate the superpower. I'm sorry, but the rules of the game are you keep your current physique and weight if you choose the eat one. That's the rules we established like 2 hours ago at the start of the stream. I'm not changing them now. It's not like a weight loss shortcut or anything like that. It's just purely to change your like lifestyle, to eliminate the time and money requirement and effort requirement of preparing and eating food and all that. Used to seeing the girl bald. Yeah, I will have eventually set a lot. Don't worry. Okay, what were we looking at? Oh, okay, salty score. Talking about food, I am getting a grocery delivery in like 20 minutes. Well, they give you a delivery window. So part of my reason, so I was talking earlier about how much time it takes to grocery shop, but I have kind of like life hacked that out of my life to a large degree by buying groceries on delivery, because I always go to the shop. Like when I used to go to the shop, I would go to the shop and buy all the same shit anyway. There's no reason for me to browse the grocery shop. I know what I want. The physical act of walking around the aisles, dodging rude people, blocking the aisles with their shopping carts and stuff, does not appeal to me. So I decided a few years ago now to do pretty much all grocery shopping delivery. And that reduces some of the cost of like time cost of eating, so that's good. Let me open this door so in case a delivery driver hollers at me, I can just run out and grab the bags. Gotten quite hot in this room actually. The benching is certainly heating this cold winter's night in Australia. Okay, is that the end of the bench? So we got another 25, but it's stopped scaling, hasn't it? Excuse me. Send some of that cold my way. Why we stopped scaling? Let's look at the breakdown of the subtests. Yeah, it's just not scaling. Shit. Why is that? I mean, let's keep upping the core anyway, because sometimes the scaling can be a bit like quantized. And it's good to know the max clocks anyway, even if you have some sort of scaling issues. Let's try that. So what's the temperature where you guys are at right now? Is it like in the 30s? I mean, it's nearly July, right? Like, so in Europe and places like that, I wouldn't be surprised if it was like quite literally like the hottest day of the year so far. 30. Okay, that's a lot. Come on, sysinfo. There we go. Okay, so salty. Okay, so 6.5 on the CPU with hyper-threading enabled. What in fucking all that is high and mighty and holy is this guy doing? Surely it's not like, surely he was doing a full run as well and grabbing the hour points or some shit, because it can't possibly, GT only can't possibly be scaling with hyperthreading. I don't buy that. Yeah, let's give it another 50 millivolts. Oh, 70% TDB already on just on render test. Maybe we are power limited. Yeah, let's try that. $14 in Perth. Yeah, there you go. Easy. Well, Mikey's reply, it's hot. Not even a temperature, just it's hot. Yeah, okay, so let's work out. So when is this comp ending? 19 days, so 15th of July. Monday the 15th. Why do these comps always end on a Monday? So my LN2 delivery day is Mondays, and it's only every second Monday, and it just so happens that I'm traveling. I mean, I could technically get LN2 next Monday and just let it sit around for a week while I'm traveling, but barring that, I would have to get the LN2 delivered the same day that I bench. So not impossible, but the same thing happened with the 6600K comp. What's the temp over east? I mean, I'm at a little bit of elevation, so let me I do have a thermometer in the other room, but it was a nice day today during the day, but it's 11 now at night, 11 Celsius. Where was the crash? Have we already passed the spot? Was the crash? I think the crash was GT1, right? So we're already doing better. I think we're already doing better. Okay, so let's go back to salty score. Okay, so hyper-threading notwithstanding, which is just like a total mindfuck. It is a full run that he just subbed as GTs only as well. Okay. Okay, I understand now. It all makes sense. It all makes sense. So obviously ThermSpy. Z970, Z790 Lightning. Okay, weird. I think he's on the exact same driver as me, so that's encouraging. So just gotta spin up a good win 10. Okay, nothing massively interesting or revealing there. 1763 on the card. Okay, we're starting to get crashes. I mean, I can always chill her down more, but is that a hard crash? It's rebooting. That's roughly where I expected it to end anyway. Let's just push the mem a little bit. I'm not going to bother to go to another OS tonight. I think maybe one more run and then a lotted run. That might be the end. I mean, we are approaching 3-hour stream, and I have groceries about to arrive, and I do sort of, as much as I wish I had the no eating superpower, I do kind of have to have some semblance of a dinner. Oh no, is it corrupted? How does one do this again? Isn't it go into safe mode? I'll try safe mode. I'll try one reboot, and if that doesn't, one more reboot, and then if that doesn't solve it, then maybe safe mode. Yeah, let's give this a go. Haven't been in safe mode for a while. Oh, okay, so desync. So sound was early. Let me add 25 milliseconds. I don't know if the person who mentioned that is even still in the chat, but let's add 25 milliseconds. Maybe someone could tell me it's better, worse, the same. I don't know if any of this stuff will even apply, but let's auto that. Okay, there's my answer to that. I feel like we've accomplished quite a bit considering this card has come out of cold storage, quote unquote. But yeah, a lot left. So like I said, with the LN2 delivery situation as it is, I feel like I'll just try and throw up some good chiller scores on this card. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really feel like re-imaging. Yeah, let's end it there. It's been a fun night, guys. Thanks for all the discussion. It's been very enlightening and entertaining. Hopefully it's been likewise for the viewers. And you'll see scores up on Howerbot when I get the chance to run this card fully on a better OS with optimized clocks. Maybe on a colder night where I can run the chiller colder as well, where the dew point is lower. Yeah, a few things to be done. But you can see, I mean, Vantage is a pretty heavy bench, and it's not a million miles away from passing 1541, and that's a pretty high clock for this kind of card, I think. All right, guys. Until next time. Thanks for watching.